So welcome back. We'll just go to a quick commercial break and then we'll be back straight into the action, so don't go away.
I'm so happy to see you.
Seismic fans, we are now introducing the latest addition to the Tournament Special Edition line, the Euphoric TSE. The Euphoric TSE features the Overb core technology and the very durable and versatile Tournament Special Edition cover stock. The Euphoric TSE is polished with a radius of gyration of 2.55 and a differential of 0.055, creating 4 to 5 inches of flare potential. This is the 4th addition to the TSE line. This cover stock is proven to provide predictable ball motion characteristics while minimizing loss of reaction due to oil absorption, translating to higher strike percentages for longer periods. By adding this cover stock to the very successful Overb core featured in the Euphoric, we've created the combination of control of a symmetric core along with the strong continuation of the TSE cover. In a side-by-side comparison, you'll see the original Euphoric begin to start its transition to the hook phase earlier than its TSE counterpart. The TSE conserves its energy through the front and mid part of the lane, then releases its power at the breakpoint and all the way through the pins. The Euphoric TSE is the perfect benchmark ball for your typical league condition. Build your arsenal on this great ball. Control, consistency, continuation. Seismic bowling, simply devastating.
Welcome back to the 27th Irish Open by Seismic, live from the LeisurePlex in Dublin, Ireland. We're now into the business end of the tournament, into the last 16, 2 games total pinfall. And our features match here is Daniel Stride versus Andy Woods. We have Lisa John versus Danny Hopcroft. Sigbjorn Eid versus Brian Voss.
Greg Marcus versus Greg MacArthur.
Greg Marcus and Greg Arthur. Ron Hart versus Stu Little.
Daniel
as we
Stride,
said, Stride and Woods.
Paul Stott Jr. and Aidan Byrne.
Stephen Gill and Steve Kay. And down the bottom end, Amanda Larkin and Sam Rose. A few shocks in that last round with Alan Smith, Jason Agate, Patrick Meeker and Chris Sloan going out. Also Glenn Morton Pedersen. Speaking to Joelle Seabrook before we started, and she says that's one of the strongest non-cuts, as in the players that didn't make it through. And as you can see on the screen now, we have got live tweets. So hashtag Irish Open to see your message up on the screen. Keep them clean. We do have to approve them before they go up, so if you want to send any messages of support to any of the players, hashtag Irish Open. Stephen Gill opens up with the front 3 against Steve Kay, who opens up with a spare and a double. Amanda Larkin with a spare and a double, and a couple of spares for Sam Rose. Takes an early lead in that one. On the featured match here, Daniel Stride opens up with a 9 spare strike, 9 spare, and Andy Woods with a couple of 9 spares and a strike. Both players from Blackie's Pro Shop. 2 spares and a strike and a 6 count for Stu Little against Ron Hurt, who's opened up with a spare, strike, spare. Can't quite see what Lisa John and Danny Hopcroft have got. Greg Marcus and MacArthur
looks like for Brian Voss, strikes per strike. And the same for
We'll get a runner. We'll run down there towards the end of the game and see who took that first game. 2 games total pinfall. And a few shocks there in that previous round. It was a surprise to see some of them players going out.
the 2 leaders after qualifying. Glenn Morton, Peterson and Chris Sloan.
Yeah, the top 2.
They shot 200 pins less than qualifying.
It just shows you shoot them 1500s in qualifying and it doesn't mean you're going to make it through to the final.
They
Not-
shot
not with this
1300.
format.
They shot 1308 and 1307. Still close.
So keep your comments coming in on the chat. Welcome back to everybody. Your commentary team for these matches will be Simon Shepherd of Dutch Bowling TV and myself, Dom Gall from TalkTemping.net.
We were getting some guests on. We have no idea who we're going to be. But
No, we're going to grab somebody. We'll see who's about.
maybe some bowlers who are out now to do the story.
That have managed to calm down a bit.
Yep.
I think the one person we won't be getting is Chris Sloan. He was not a happy camper, as you can imagine. He's wanted this since he was a little boy. Really wants to win the Irish Open. And he's going to have to wait another 12 months.
I did win the Also Open last Friday.
He did win a few Euros this week, but I don't think that's small consolation to him. He's pretty upset with himself that he didn't do enough in the end. Ooh, and a single pin miss for Dan Stride. Gives his teammate of Blackie's Pro Shop a nice big opening. 2-game total pinfall. And some new tweets coming through. So keep your tweets coming in. Hashtag Irish Open for your messages of support for the players. Oh, Rose, be nice if we got a few tweets saying, well done, Simon. Aidan Byrne taking a decent lead against countryman Paul Stott Jr. 9-spare double, 9-spare strike for Stott. And 8-1 split, 4-bagger for Aidan Byrne. A 279 pace for the Scotsman Stephen Gill. And a shaky start for Stephen Kay from Leeds, England. 76 in the 4th with a strike in the 5th. And doesn't look to be much in it in the Amanda Larkin and Sam Rose match at the bottom. A tough match for both players there. Sam Rose, an up-and-coming English male player, and Amanda Larkin, an up-and-coming Irish starlet. The last Irish female in the tournament. Just 3 females still in the tournament. So whatever happens, they've made the top 3. Hi to Sarah Foley out there on the chat. And a shout out to Barry. I'll see you in Malta this year, buddy. So Aidan Byrne adds another one for 5 in a row. The 2 Irish lads have unfortunately paired up against each other, so we're guaranteed to lose one Irish lad. But we're also guaranteed to see one of them through. Probably the pick of the matches for me is Sigbjorn Eid against Brian Voss. A tough match for both players. Be interesting to see how Sigbjorn responds to playing against a legend, for want of a better word. Paul Stott Jr. comes back at Aidan Byrne, who's got a string of 5 in a row, but Stotty with a double spare turkey. A decent sized crowd at the behind us now and building all the time. And Aidan Byrne's the first to blink there. Leaves a 2, 4, 5, 8 baby bucket. In your featured match in front of us, Andy Woods with 144 in the 7th.
With an open.
With a good almost 20 pin lead. And Steve Kay beginning to fight back now against Stephen Gill, who's just had an open frame. 124 in the 6th for Stephen Gill. And Steve Kay, after a shaky start, and 76 in the 4th, come back with a turkey as we watch Amanda Larkin strike. But Sam Rose has put 3 in a row on the board. And that looks like it's going to be an exciting match. Sarah Foley there says, I see you in Malta, Dom. That's if I get an invite from Neil Dent, that's for sure. I'm assuming I might be there, but anything can happen yet.
And the match between Sigmund and Brian is a little bit to Brian, I think now. He's on 148 in the 6th with a strike in 8. And Sigbjorn is on 104 with a spare in 8th, so a pretty big lead for Brian now.
Yeah, 2 game totals, pinfall, though anything can happen. And we've seen with a few players, they've shot 300 when they thought they've been out. And Stotty on a run of 3 strikes just leaves a single pin, a 148 in the 6th with a strike and a spare still to come. And not a lot in it between him and Aidan. Aidan 165 in the 7th.
And Brian doubles in 8 and 9.
Keep your tweets coming through. Hashtag Irish Open for your messages of support or your comments.
Or any questions.
Or any questions, yeah. Also, we've got the chat running still, so join us on the chat. The technical whiz kid that is Simon Shepherd is working overtime to bring you live tweets. And we will have some other little surprises soon. Action replays for the final. Sam Rose's string of strikes ends with a single pin, but Amanda Larkin's coming back strong, shooting a double. She tries to stay with Sam. Just 3 pins in it in the All-Irish matchup between Stotty Jr. and Aidan Byrne. A 3-pin lead for Stott. Please spread the web address for the live stream. Let's try and get as many people watching in the next couple of rounds leading into the final. And Bernard says BV changes all the time. So just coming up to the end of this first game, it's going to be pretty quick. 2 game totals. 2 pins in it now in favour of Paul Stott Jr., 187 to 185. And both players, if Stotty picks up this, will be on a spare. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, no, he hasn't got it. I thought he missed it then. So nothing in it between Stotty and Byrne. After a bright start, Stephen Gill is faltering a little bit. 133 in the 7th with a spare working, and Steve Kay coming back strong with 4 in a row. But he's just left a baby split.
And on lanes 3 and 4, the match between Scipion and Brian is finished. Brian finished with 2:28 versus 1:72, I think.
The Lisa and am I going to get down in time? I'll try and get to Lisa and Danny.
It's a knockout final right now. So 2-game total pinfall match.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get up there in time, so I didn't see the scores between Lisa and Danny. And again, the bottom end can't quite see what the scores are between Larkin and Rose.
We have a close match in front of us in the featured pair of lanes. 2:01 versus and 191.
Yeah, nothing in it there. And 224.
197, say even.
224 for Aidan Byrne and 237 for Paul Stock Jr.
That's close.
So a 13-pin lead going into the second game for Stotty. And in the match further down, Steve Gill and Steve Kay. Looks like it's going to be about 223 for Steve Kay if he spare strikes, and about a 213 if the Scotsman goes off the card. So like Steve Kay is going to have about a 10 or 15 pin lead as we go into game 2. And at the other side, Simon, did you say that one?
We have 187 for Greg Marcus.
Yep, and a 224 for Craig MacArthur. Tell you what, then you do that side, I'll do this
Yeah.
side. Welcome back to Rishi, round robin or knockout, Dom. 2-game total match play, basically. Rishi. Keep your tweets coming in. Hashtag Irish Open. Keep them clean. Simon is checking them. New feature for this year with live tweets. Unfortunately, we can't do Facebook at the moment, but we'll find a patch this year, and next year hopefully we'll have Facebook on there. He spared a split. Oh no, just a double. I think he's got a lot of the Norwegians down there supporting him. Must be a dream match for him though, to be playing Brian Voss.
He's the only Norwegian who is in now.
Yeah. Of 44 of them came, and only one of them has made it through. I was surprised not to see Tora Torgerson make it through.
Yeah. Didn't make even final step 3.
So small lead for Steve Kay against Stephen Gill. Stotty Jr. and Aidan Byrne both start with a strike, and Stotty swishes another strike for a double. Keep your comments coming in on the chat.
We have a replay of the late 9-pin of Polestar Jr. There he is. Whoa, really like.
Good old Stotty. So on my 4 matches, we've got Stotty Jr. with a couple of strikes and Aidan Byrne with a strike, 7-2.
And on the left side we have Greg Marker starting with a double and Greg Arter starting with a double too. So, and the match between Lisa and Donny is very hard to see what's going on there.
Yeah, you can't see anything on 1 and 2.
Ryan left in 10-pin on lane 3 now.
And apparently in the match between Lisa John and Danny, I don't think Danny's ever beaten Lisa in match play in this, so today could be her day. Looking down, Stephen Gill opens up with a strike, as does Steve Kay. And in the match down the very bottom, Amanda Larkin seems to be holding her own against Sam Rose, who's just left a split, so an opening for the young Irish girl. Hopes of a nation resting on her shoulders. Sam did 3 splits in a row. So Amanda's got a good chance to push past him now. Tough opening match for her, but Stephen Gill hits a double.
And we have Greg Marker starting up for the front 3 now, and Greg left 4-8 after double.
Keep your comments coming in on the chat and also in the tweets, hashtag Irish Open. In your featured match in front of you.
It looks like Lisa is starting off with a front 4 now, because there are no white letters on the bottom of the screen. So
I'll just spin over to that side so you can have a look at some of the matches going on.
let's see what the screens is going to do. She's got a 6-pack, Lisa.
I've got a couple of tweets coming through from Vicky Carragher and Hale's babe, Hayes' babe mum.
Brian got back-to-back 10-pin. And Chickbeard left a 1-2-4.
Dan Stride with a slight lead over Andy Woods. And Stephen Gill working a double as Steve Kay goes strike 9 spare. Read a couple of your tweets. Hashtag Irish Open. Good luck, Stu Little from All Back Home. Vicky Carragher. Hashtag Irish Open. Match play time. Come on at Stu Little. 85. Here's Babe Mum. Hashtag Irish Open. Come on, Stephen Kay. Keep it up. Doing us proud. Love Joe, Chris, Georgian and Sarah. And Sarah Burns. Hashtag Irish Open. Match play time. Come on at Stu Little 85. So Stu Little popular. Debbie J Neck also. Hashtag Irish Open. Good luck, Stu Little from All Back Home. So Stotty.
And Lisa left on stone 9.
Stotty goes up and
after
comes back.
front 6.
Double 9 spare strike for Paul Stock Jr. and a strike 7 split to Turkey for Aidan Byrne.
There's a lead for Brian in the match against Sigburn now. He has 126 in frame 6 and against the 16 from Sigbjörn, so
Stotty Jr. on a 279 pace. Aidan Burns holding firm, strike 7 split to Turkey. That one looks like it's going to go to the wire. About a 10-pin lead for Stotty after the first game.
yeah, Stu Little is in really big problems now. He started with a strike, 9 open, 8 spare, split 7-1, 8 miss, and now a 2-pin.
To be fair though, he's only 27 pins behind on that.
Yeah, but if you
On that
see
game.
the previous score was
We've got the scores at the top,
66.
yeah. Yeah, he was 30 odd pins behind, so he's up to about 50, 60 pins behind. Aidan Bernard's another one as he comes back at Paul Stott. And second time Stotty's gone up and come back. I'm not sure if he's happy with the tape or he's hearing noises behind him, or but he sets himself and starts again. 237, 224, first game for Stott against Byrne. Very little in it in the match in front of us. A 201 for Andy Woods and a 197 for Dan Stride. 56 in the fourth and 53 in the fourth in favour of Stride. So a 1-pin match at the moment over the 2 games. Keep your comments coming in.
And I think Ryan is through. He got a 3-bagger in frames 7, 8, and 9. Stepping up for the 10th now. He got a lead of, I think, 40 pins. So
Debbie Janek, hashtag Irish Open. Vicky Gallagher, we're cheering louder than you for Stu Little.
and there's number 4 for Brian, so he's through. That's 1.
So we've got Voss through. Stotty on a 279 pace, double 9 spare Turkey. Halfway through the match down the bottom, and it looks like Amanda Larkin has got the jump on Sam Rose. She's working a Turkey at the moment after an open frame. So a 4-bagger now will heap a whole lot of problems on Sam Rose's shoulders. Oh, and a 10-pin from Amanda. Keeps everything alive for Sam.
Match between Greg McArthur and Greg Marcus is going to be really close. Greg McArthur scored a 224 in the first game and Greg Marcus scored 167. But Marcus is on a 145 in 6th versus 102 from McArthur. So it's been a really close one there.
Yeah, Paul Stott Jr. is beginning to pull away against Aidan Byrne. Double 9 spare, 4 in a row, and he's on the approach now looking for 5. 237 played 224 in the first game, 137 in the 6th for Aidan Byrne, but Stotty on a 279 pace and gets another one. So Stotty looks like he's going to take this match.
Now we have a double for Greg McArthur, and he can step out for 222.
Keep your tweets coming in, hashtag Irish Open. Please spread the web address as far and wide as you can for the live stream.
And the match between One Herd and Stu Little is over.
Yeah, looks like Stu Little's gone.
If Greg Marcus strikes out, he could get 265? 255. He must strike out to even have a chance to win the game.
We're not sure about the Amanda Larkin Sam Rose match, but it looks like Amanda's got the jump on Sam. And it looks to be pretty close to all level in the Stephen match, Stephen Gill and Stephen Kay. It doesn't seem that either one of these players on the featured pair want it. Blackie's Pro Shop, they don't want to beat each other. Dan Stride on 95 and Andy Woods on 90. And there was only 4 pins in it after the first game in favour of Andy Woods. So that one looks still to be close to being all level. But a big shot from Andy. And a 7-10 for Daniel is giving Andy the edge. Stotty has won this one with a 279 by the looks of it. It's going to be 500 plus for his two. Aidan Byrne, good effort, 224, and he can tap out for a 234. So it looks like Paul Stott Jr. is going to be the only Irish male player left in the tournament.
I think Lisa has done, because Danny is smiling a lot, and she is making...
Danny, did you win it? You tied? Oh, they've tied.
Really?
So what happens now? Is it like a two-frame roll-off, or one ball roll-off, or what?
I have no idea. And the match between Greg Wood-Arthur and Greg Marks is over. So Greg Wood-Arthur will advance to the next final step. Only match really close is Stephen Gill, Stephen Gay, and Daniel Stride versus Andy Woods.
Yeah, I think Steve Kay's got the jump on Steve Gill's got the jump on Steve Kay now. Paul Stott Jr. is going to just coast to 279 with 2 more strikes. Oh no, big split, but he's done enough now. So Paul Stott Jr. is going to advance.
It's not over yet here. We're in the lanes 9 and 10, right in front of us. And a big strike for Andy Woods there.
Yeah, looks like, unless Daniel Stride.
He has to strike out, and Andy
to
Woods has to miss.
So, looking at the body language of Amanda Larkin, she's made it through.
Yeah, I don't see Sam anymore, so...
Yeah, Amanda's taken out Sam Rose. And will advance to the next round. Paul Stott Jr. finishes with 265, takes out Aidan Byrne. Good effort from Aidan. And it looks like Stephen Gill is still odds on to take out Steve Kay, who just can't seem to get the runs of strikes going. As we said, Stu Little's gone out to Ron Hurt. RT at Chatfield Lee, hashtag Irish Open.
He's standing right behind us.
And an imaginative tweet from Lee Chatfield that just says hashtag Irish Open.
Yeah.
I've never tweeted before. I don't know what to do. It's all alien to me. And Andy Woods has taken out his teammate Daniel Stride. So just one match down the bottom end. Spin the camera to the last match.
Lisa and Danny already started their roll-off, and I think Lisa started with a strike. I will be watching that now.
Oh, that could make it interesting. A big split for Stephen Gill. as Steve K starts to strike very late in this match. I think there was only about 10 pins in it leading into this game, but
Lisa through.
Lisa's through,
Yep.
So we've got
Strike.
Lisa, Voss. Was it MacArthur or was it
Yeah, MacArthur. Yeah.
MacArthur, Ron Hurt, Andy Woods, Paul Stock Jr., Amanda Larkin, and we're just waiting for the result from the Stephen Gill and Steve K match.
Everyone is watching now last match between Stephen Gill and Steve K.
Yep.
Here we are. It's 15 pins advantage for Steve.
As I said, this is the shot now. Steve K needs to strike. And he did. And he still feels he's got a chance, so this
Yeah,
one's
that's
not over yet.
15 pin lead after the first game, so if he taps out, he can get 2. Could he shut out Stephen, or?
Not sure. It's going to go to the wire. We'll find out by the body language in a minute which one's gone through. If you hear the Scots cheering like nuts, then we know the jock's gone through. Keep your comments coming in on the chat. Hashtag Irish Open. So Steve K working a turkey, but Stephen Gill has just put a strike in frame 9. So we'll see now. Steve K on the lanes, looking for a 4-bagger.
He likes it.
He does like it, yeah.
If Stephen strikes out, he could get to 224.
Yeah, it's going to be enough to shut him out.
He has to make 15 pins up to Steve. So
Oh, that's it. I would have said 5-10 for the left-hander.
little bit weak of his hand. Didn't have the power to kick out the 5 or the 7.
So I think it looks like Steve K has made this one. And I'd have to say, if I want anybody to win now, it would be Steve K. He's from the same area and city as me.
This is going to be a really important shot for Steve K now.
We'll see a big bit of an emotion if it's a strike, that's for sure.
Strike 7 will be enough.
Strike 7.
To the outside.
Oh! Big split. Uh-oh.
174 in 9 versus
164 in the 8th. But a big split also for Steve Gill. So he's of the 2 splits that we can see on 13 and 14, at least Steve K's is doable. Oh, and he picks it up.
I think it's over now.
Yeah, I think Steve Gill might have got this.
204 versus
190 something, depending on.
Yeah. Steve needs 1 pin.
Steve needs 1. Which Steve?
Stephen or Steve?
Stephen Gill.
Stephen Gill needs 1. Oh, he just needs a pin. Keep it on the lane. Yeah. And the Scotsman beats the Englishman.
Yeah, there was a 15 pin lead for Steve. So if it is 202
202.
minus 15, it's 187. And Steve already got that.
done. Yeah, it's done.
I was going by what I was getting told then. That's Steve Gill that's made it by the looks of it. Shaking his head is Steve Kay, and yeah, looks like Scotsman's through.
Steve Gay had 2:28 in the first, right?
Yeah, but 2:13 I think from.
Yeah, but 2:02 for Stephen Gill is 2:02. Minus 15 is 187. We will have to wait for the official standings then.
Yeah, looks like it. And that's hard to say which. No, I think Stephen Gill's gone through because you just got to look at Steve Kay's body language to suggest that it's the Scotsman that's gone through.
4:30.
Sorry?
Stephen Gill has 4:15. The other guy has 4:13.
Right.
193.
So 2 pins, I think. 15 against 14. So Scotsman goes through. 1 pin. 1 pin. Hoo hoo hoo. What a way to finish with splits. And they had it and then they didn't. So that concludes the end of that block. And the winners through were Amanda Larkin, Stephen Gill, Paul Scott Jr., Andy Woods, and then at your side, Ron Hurt, Craig MacArthur, Brian Voss, and Lisa John.
After a roll-off.
After the roll-off.
Strike versus 8, I think.
Right. So Danny Hopcroft is still to beat Lisa John in match play.